placeholder, it did go through it. It was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If there's a T12 placeholder, it did go through it, unless because it's essentially a lot of Reinhardts, a lot of tank builds already have RWE built in automatically. So your SWE is not going to take effect for when you're facing those tankier builds, such as your Reinhardts and your Orochis. Now, if they have a Nanto Hecta, then yeah, of course. But at the same time, a lot of people run T12 Origins in the placeholders, which that means that they can still tier space damage you. So your T11 infantry still can get hit and still take that tier space damage. So your SWE necessarily isn't effective against it in that aspect. So it's all relying on your pin and your damage that you're dealing, plus that combination of those two talents was able to actually do pretty good.
Yeah, but generally speaking, you're talking about 1 out of 5 commanders and tile hits. You send what you think will be effective. It's not that big a deal. It's a tile.
Exactly.
You're gonna lose 3 out of 5 tiles and cast regardless. Get over it.
Yeah, you will. It's cast. Any more questions? Good question, by the way. But in other words, I do believe that there's sets that Ark should build and everything if they are working towards something. The sweep in set can be effective. I would say I do suggest having one at one point in time. That I do think that they're a very good utility. They can fit on a lot of different things and do a lot of different, help you out a lot of different ways.
Yeah, if you're small, start with SWE though. SWE pen is an advanced set. If you don't have plus 40 gear to throw away, don't do it.
True.
And just for the listeners, what exactly is a SWE pen set?
It's Quantum Module and/or Ruthless, which is 5% base pen, and I think 20% base SWE. I think, and then Ruthless has trigger rate, and Quantum Module's got
40%,
plasma special skill.
40% base SWE.
That's higher than I thought it was. Anyway, and then weapons would be roses because they got SWE and they got pen. Lowish damage because it's 20% base attack, so not that great for damage, which is the main problem with the set in general. Is it lacks damage for a pen set, which is why it relies on its utility usage and just the overall usefulness of having full pen. But then pants are usually assault pants for the maximum SWE. That set at plus 40, I think, gives you about 600% SWE. So it's about as useful as plus 30 SWE set in that regard. It's higher, way higher damage though. So you can use it without having to use a ramp commander like Hancock or Sister Wolf specifically. You can use it for 1-slot busts, as well as using it like a SWE set for utility with ramp commanders at low lead. Yep. It's just a high damage SWE set essentially. You got full pen, you got SWE. It's pretty self-explanatory. It does not work with destructions. It does not work with rabbit ears. That's a SWE set, not a SWE pen set. You have to have full pen, or at the very least be working towards full pen, because at plus 40 you're not going to get there, especially because the helm is 5% base pen. So to get 100% pen, you have to have 3-piece Andro. And normally, when you're using a 6% base helm, you have to have a 45 helm, 45 weapon, 3-piece Andro, and Dawn Hull. That gives you 100% pen, with the other weapon being at 40. So for SWE pen, you have to be closer to all 45 gear and maybe have some gems like Canes, Lynx, and Aquelius. They each have a specialty gem, which maxes out at 3% pen, so you can get a maximum of 9% out of that, which is way too expensive for most people to do because it costs a crap ton to recycle to get a good pen gem, etc. And it also fucks up your gem sets because you have to have one in the helm weapon in weird orders. So generally speaking, you're not going to have full pen with a SWE pen set unless you're 45 and above gear, and probably throwing in some weird gem sets. Plus 3-piece Andro, 2-piece Virgo for the SWE,
And that's one of the
which
downfalls
is
of it is you have to try if you can't afford to get the 50 the helmet to 50, you have to start joining to those gyms. So that's what makes the sweep in a more higher quality set than your normal sweep, like you said earlier, Ben.
which is also why I recommend getting Ruthless, because if you're spending enough to get to the 100% pen, I don't recommend putting it on a subpar helmet like Quantum Module, which is considerably cheaper. And if you're going just for the bare minimum cost, is probably the better option. But overall, in general, it's not that difficult to get a Ruthless these days. If you're spending, if you're not spending, you're kind of fucked on a
Okay.
sweet pen set anyway. Just saying.
When does Rufus come like in the it comes in a normal event exchange or is it comes with the coins?
You can get them in Ethercoin events like this. You might see one come up
It's
this event. You
it's
can get them in the what's that Star Sea coin thing? I can never remember the name of the event from the collection room. What are those called?
You mean Starseed Conquest?
Yes.
No, the specialty coins, the ones you get from the bridge packs.
The skin.
Yeah,
collection
you
room.
know the ones you got to get the special packs for, and then they have those random events that you spend only those coins on. It's not the same as Ether coins.
coins.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good event right there.
those ones you can get Ruthless from that. You can get Ruthless from Ether coin events, and that's so far just about it. I think they offered blueprints a few times other places like Gold Charge type deal. I'm not sure, but Aether coin events like this one is probably the most common way to get them.
wildly Bane. We gotta fight.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm rotating.
All
I
right.
just lost. Well, actually, I beat the first guy. Holy cow! He gave me 2,400 crystals, and then I lost them all.
All right. Anyway, sorry to interrupt and everything like that. Back to the conversation though. We can go straight back. Sorry about that.
Yeah, Ruthless, you get it from events. You're gonna have to spend or save a long time to get it if you're not spending, and if you're not spending, Aether coin's probably the only way you're gonna get it.
Even spending, I've been sitting at 40 fragments for well over a year now.
Right. No, it's not an easy piece to get. It's not as hard as it was because they're making them cheaper. So it's kind of like the rest of the advanced gear now. You have to save up a bit and splurge specifically for that item, or you're not going to get it. If you're trying to get it slowly, it's going to take you a long time. Wait for events like this. They'll probably offer like the eight chests with I think 8 blueprints, and then like 5 chests with 4 blueprints. They give you 20. So always grab the cheaper chests because they offer more blueprints for a lower coin cost. You can get 20 per event. That would take you 5 events to get that. So that'd be 500 coins. That's the cheapest way to do it, but that's like you have to wait 5 separate Aether coin events to do it that way, and that's assuming that they offer it. But that's also the cheapest way to get most gear here of the expensive kind is when they offer 2 types of chests, the 50 coin chest and the 20 coin chests. The 20 coin chests have a limit of 5, but they offer 4 blueprints. So you can get 20 blueprints for 100 coins, mini blueprints. So that will take you 5 events if you do only that. And it'll take you 500 coins, which is comparably cheap actually, but it's a long time in coming. If you do it the more expensive way, it's going to cost you closer to 600, 800 plus.
And how many of these events is there a year?
What, 5, 4, 6, some random amount. It's like every 3 months.
So if you could
It's
do
4.
it, so you could easily get it
A
in a
year.
year. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna get it. You're gonna
That's
get it a
not
year.
too bad.
And that's assuming you have 100 coins per event and you save only for that one item. If you're spending it all, though, you can get it much cheaper. I mean, not cheaper, easier. because you technically are going to have more than 100 coins at your disposal per event. Especially if you're spending high quantities during one specific event, it's not going to be hard to get it all. But for free to play, yeah, the quantum module is way easier. But then again, you're still going to have problems getting your gear level. That, you know, it is what it is.
All right. Any more questions?
That gear Ruthless, I don't think I can use it. Can I use it on Puppet?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes. Puppet ignores damage reduction. If assuming you use his weapon, his skill will ignore both damage reduction and HP. So you don't need a formula on Puppet. And you can use Tanling.
It's
But
better than a Tanling.
if I would say it was better for Puppet on it than a Tanling. Tanling's it's kind of tank hybrid. It's like the step up from the old V1 Devil's Touch. It's a solid piece, Tanling is, but it's generally speaking more useful for tanks. And once you're getting closer to 50 gear, advanced sets and all that, it kind of dies out in the one slot bust meta. It's not as useful. It's good for like tank hybrids. Ruthless is the natural progression for damage builds. Formulat is the expensive high damage option, but Puppet specifically does not need a Formulat because he ignores damage reduction at like I think 60% as is. So Ruthless with the trigger rate and the fact that the pen is 5% instead of 4% like Formulat, that's a bonus. Makes it easier to use.
Okay, I'm tossing between a Broken Fortress and Ruthless.
Oh, that's a tough one. Broken Fortress has so many uses because just the ability to block that damage is huge. And with a Tan Lang specifically, on Puppet even, you can run a pretty decent tanky set with his first skill being a tank skill. But, like, utility uses, Ruthless is more versatile.
Yes.
Broken Fortress, it's hard. If you're running tank main, Broken Fortress is kind of a must. I mean, it's not a must, but like if you're picking between Broken Fortress or Ruthless, Broken Fortress is a must.
100%.
If you're running a one slot bust like me, Broken Fortress has less value because there's just so many ways to get around it, especially if you're infantry. It has less value for one slot bust. If I mained a tank, you can use Broken Fortress on a one slot bust. You cannot use Ruthless on a tank. That's the difference. Ruthless has more utility set uses and one slot bust uses. Broken Fortress is straight up solid for any tank and is still nasty on one slot busts.
Okay, then I'll wait for Ruthless to get cheaper. Because it's utility use. I'll save my coins for Broken Fortress.
Yeah, Broken Fortress is definitely a good piece to have for sure, especially if you're tanking. I love my Broken. It actually works really well.
I'm shifting to tank. That's why I'm very cool.
Yeah, like I want a Broken Fortress. It's just not worth the cost for what I would be able to use it for, and I don't technically need it. If you're a smaller player, Broken Fortress really is not going to help you out all that much. It'll help you versus other small players, but it's not going to do jack crap versus big guys. But if you're a big guy, you need a Broken Fortress. If you don't have one, you're just behind the meta.
Well, CNJ's kind of going at it here.
Let's have some fun.
Hey, Walleye's got full metal, and he better not sit there. He sat there.
Yeah, he did indeed.
Anyways, excuse me. Any more questions, guys? Anything concerning particular gear, anything like that? Any other options? Walker, comms, airship comms, anything?
Somebody say something.
No, actually,
Something.
I do have a question about Walker talents. And again, this would be setting up for that utility wolf. Looking at, currently working with blue hunks, but I'm going to be unlocking time walkers. What talent should I focus on and where should I put them?
Power walkers for the front row on time walkers, generally speaking.
Yes. You definitely want to
That
put power walkers right there on your time walker in your front row. What I personally excuse me, what I personally run, excuse me, is I don't know, I'll pull it up. Let me see what's coming real quick. Give me one second.
hey Neva, we got the fort shield on.
I don't know. Hold on one second. Let me check. I killed something.
Yeah, Reinhardt.
It is now.
Okay, I'll send a mail.
I'm pulling. No, not fuck. Come on, man.
So just to clarify, fort shield is on.
Yes.
Okay, mail sent.
Oh no, that was wrong. Was that the run? Was that? Oh, okay, cool. He has to run T2 for that to work. Nice. Okay. Anyway, so with talents wise, back to the discussion. I'm so sorry I got distracted. With talent wise in the discussion and everything, what I personally run on mine, because mine's set up a little bit differently, but on my time walkers, I run. I hit the wrong button again. I'm sorry. Healing field, and I know they already have a heal, but the healing field is a heal that's based off the damage that you do within the rage state, so it actually helps out a lot. You know what I'm saying? So I run that. I run power walkers, and I run final defense on my time walkers. On the back row with the hunks, I run interference field, which I can change that out possibly, but I found this the better use for it to have that for it to be having interference field on your hunks for some reason. I just found it more useful for my particular build. But you want to definitely include spread shot in there for sure. And then I run HP on it.
Oh shoot! I am not in the fort circle.
Yeah. Nice job.
You got hit?
Oh
No.
shit! I'm there.
I
Not good.
just looked at I checked my arc because I'm like, I don't know exactly where the fort was at. I'm not safe. Better
Me
not sit
neither,
there.
Elf. Oops.
Be wondering why you got hit.
Yes.
No, I'd be smart. Sometimes.
You see that?
That
But
DS is a bitch.
but to
Nay.
answer your question, though, Wild. I mean, it just really depends on how you're building out the wolf and everything as well. So, like for example, I run the healing field because I got some action in my build, I got some damage in my build, and everything like that. But if you're running like a pure solely based off damage and everything, I mean, that healing field up front could be a nice thing depending on if you're running your hunks up front. You know, that could be a nice thing for you because you'll be healing up some of the troops that you lose back. Versus, if you're going to have time walkers for sure, then I do suggest having that on there. Just me personally, because it gives it that extra ability to be able to heal.
Yeah. Have you tested the what is it? Vengeful attack with healing field that blocks enemy heals, doesn't it? Have you tried any combination with that where you're not running power up walkers since you can't do both?
I have not, unfortunately, at this time. I will be honest with you on that. It is a good. I mean, I've thought about it, but I didn't. The power walkers is such a huge skill to
Right,
have.
right. That's the biggest problem is you
Yeah.
not having your force skill available in the first round is not really an option.
No.
Which is one of the reasons why I kind of thought Full Metal or Cassius could be useful
Yeah.
if they had Aquelius / Dim Light to be able to ramp damage. I'm not sure if that would be enough damage ramp on those specific commanders, but it would open up a different talent spectrum so that you could block their heals, which would help versus that new AI.
It would actually. You're exactly right. But you have to take damage at that point, and unfortunately, with the T2 Reinhardt at that case, you're not taking damage. So
Do you have to take damage, or do you have to like get hit? There's a difference, because like if even if they register as 0 damage, so if they register 0 damage, that doesn't count.
It says when taking damage.
Right, but did you test it?
No,
7 pirate.
Yeah, it is 7 pirates. You got a good point there, and I do need to test it. I will. I can actually have. Well, we can run some sims in a little bit and everything and see, because you have that new AI. Actually, I can get Daza too. So.
Yeah, like I've wanted to try out some Walker stuff. I'm trying to get my talents in tier 12 unlocked so I can run Sister Wolf. And now that I want to get tier 12 to run Sister Wolf, y'all are telling me that tier 11 infantry is counter assist to Reinhardt. And I'm like, what the
I mean, unfortunately, with the new AI and everything like that, in Cass, it is a little bit different. You have to have that combination of certain things to win. No.
Be careful, Woody and Jello. You're gonna get tier suppressed. I just know it.
Don't jinx it. Jello needs those good kills.
Huh?
So don't jinx them being tier suppressed.
Well, if you see a DS or you see a Vega and it's running Origins on a lowish lead, weird looking march, it's tier suppression. Guarantee you it's tier suppression. So if you're running tier 11, get out the way.
That guy's going for points.
Ooh, maybe Tombots will get this DS.
Yep.
Well, he won. Don't know if he got him though.
Nah, someone. I lost first strike on the last
one.
What?
Any other questions? Did that answer your question, Wild?
Yes, it did.
If y'all hadn't noticed, we are distracted.
Yeah, just a little bit.
So this isn't like a personal question because actually I can't remember if Bane or Bolt actually talked about this the other day. But what is your opinion on acquiring gear when it comes to gold events like we have right now, where you have to spend 100k gold to get the items?
Trash.
Okay, but is there any time where you would recommend, or a specific piece of gear that you would recommend actually spending the gold?
If you're crafting an advanced piece, like say you are just getting your first V2 pen set and you need that one swallow to get your arcade, you might contemplate doing it, because otherwise you could be waiting for 3 months to get another swallow event that's affordable. That's assuming you have the chests, assuming you have the gold, and you're not going to go bankrupt doing this for that one piece of gear. You can do it. But generally speaking, overall, there is almost no reason to spin that stupid roulette wheel. It is a complete abject waste of gold and the dumbest thing 7 Pirates put into this game. It is zero value. All the pieces, the Assault Shield, Swallow, Red Pupil, Fire Spirits, Ambition, all those pieces will come up for cheaper if you wait. Like, they might even cost you 1,200 super equipment chests. But 1,200 super equipment chests you can get for free over time, especially if you are waiting. And that is still better than 1,200 super equipment chests and 300k gold. That's just no. There's almost no reason to justify it. If you spent a lot during that specific event, you can do it, because you've got
there was only one time when it was good, and then once 7 Pirates found out that we were doing that, they nerfed it.
Right. Like, I've used the roulette wheel once, maybe twice, because I was spending more at the time. I had a lot of gold on me, and I specifically needed one piece to finish crafting an advanced piece, which would push my set significantly. But overall, in general, no. There's no reason to do it. Especially if you're free to play or cheap play. That is just a bad idea. All of this gear can be gotten in better events.
I agree with that 100%. Does that answer your question, sir?
Well, he had already
Should
answered
hope
it
so.
in Discord like last weekend, but just for people watching, because
Mm.
you know it's a good thing to put out there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. If you see an event with a roulette wheel, automatically assume it's trash. And then make judgments based upon your need.
It's
Which
like
overall, in general, most people aren't jumping up 20 levels because they got that one piece of gear and their effectiveness isn't going to drastically increase. Therefore, the cost is not worth, it does not merit that expense. If it does merit that expense, or you happen to be splurging at the time, you can excuse it once or twice. But overall, no.
That brings out a question. Should I make my mantle pants for my mechanical puppet?
You can. Nanto pants are, like, generally speaking, more tank, but especially if you're running a Tan Lang, Puppet's first skill is tank, so it's not the worst hybrid tank build, and Puppet does need accuracy. I would prefer Sunraven pants, although they have lower accuracy. At least they have the crit damage. Like, not now that I say that, it's kind of hard to say that because crit damage is mostly useless.
Yeah, just about to say.
Nanto pants do give you accuracy. The only reason I would do Sunraven is because they are technically more damage oriented, but Nanto does give you more accuracy. So I would definitely say that they're a contender for Puppet, although you would have to weigh the value of that accuracy versus, say, dodge, and whether or not you can justify the kind of waste of the tank stats on Puppet. Because if you're running a tank commander as well, you might want the Nanto for that. It depends on like who your main is, etc., etc. If you have Nanto pants though, they're pretty solid for Puppet because he has to land his hits.
Oh, one slot. Okay, cool. Very hard to.
Like the only other two options really are, other than Sunraven pants, which is essentially the same thing but lower more crit damage. The only other options is Fire Spirit for dodge and Overlord. Overlord's just Puppet doesn't really need them for damage. He hits hard enough without them. And that, other than that, they add 0 utility, no survivability. Fire Spirits give you dodge and trigger rate, which can be massive. But if you're not landing your hits, it doesn't help. It depends on the enemy, because a lot of enemies you have to have dodge for. I'm a fan of having multiple pieces to switch between, personally. But got to do what works for you. I recommend accuracy on Puppet.
Cool. And I'll be spending 100k to get the soul pants and the
That does not mean put Boltar on there either.
No. If you still use,
Yeah, don't use
if you're still using Voltar, Magewell, or what's the other one, Nixas, you should be Akshamid. Go sit in the corner.
I use it on my own.
Yeah, no, they are alt pieces and eatable pieces. That's about all the good they are. Like, I've got, how many of those chests do I have?
They're great for monsters. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but if, generally speaking, you should have 5 full sets of gear by now at this stage in the game, unless you're comparably new. If no, you know, there's very little reason to use those aside from very, very early game.
Thing saying 5 sets of piece, 5 sets gear, so that is 25, 40 gear. Right?
I did not say 40 gear. It doesn't have to be 40 gear. I did not say that. I mean, I could.
25, 30 gear. Never 30 gear.
Most people know plus 30 is what you want on your second, third, fourth commander, maybe.
Yeah. Plus 30
Your main you want 40, 45 to 50, and your secondary should have close to 40, 45, depending on what level you're at. If you're smaller, obviously it drops down, but same scale essentially. Plus 20 gear on your farmers, plus 30 on your secondary, plus 40 on your main. Scale it.
That's a way to do it. That's what
I guess we can go ahead and conclude Gear Talk for the week. I want to thank everybody for coming. And as always, make sure you go check out Grinch's page, Grinch Gaming. Go like and subscribe to videos and everything. Give him some support. He comes out here to actually, try to get some knowledge for all the players out there. He really does a lot for the community. He's trying hard for the community. So make sure you go support him, man. But other than that, I want to thank everybody for joining today.
All right. We're out.